What if I told you that three men, aged 95, 98, and 103, are still living with the kind of energy, mental sharpness, and strength that many people lose decades earlier? While most believe aging automatically means weakness, medications, and giving up the life you love, these three legends proved the opposite. One survived cancer and continued running well into his hundreds. Another still works with the discipline that made him a Hollywood icon. And the third continues to inspire millions with his humor, purpose, and youthful spirit at 98. They come from completely different worlds, but they all follow the same powerful principles that help them stay active, independent, and mentally strong long after most people slow down. In this video, you'll discover the foods they refuse to eat, the simple meals they rely on every day, the daily habits that keep their bodies moving, and the mindset that has allowed them to age without surrendering to old age. These aren't expensive supplements, miracle treatments, or unrealistic routines, just proven habits that almost anyone can follow. Watch until the end, because one small change from these legends could completely transform the way you think about aging. And we'll begin with the incredible story of Mike Fremont, the 103-year-old runner who proved it's never too late to change your life.
I'm 22 years older than the average person who dies in this country, and it's simply because of what I eat.
Meet Mike Fremont, born in Cincinnati, Ohio, on February 23, 1922. A quiet, numbers and systems kind of man who spent his life as a mechanical engineer. Not a celebrity, but Mike's story doesn't start with fame. It starts with a sentence that would break most people. At 69, doctors told him he had colon cancer, and if he didn't get operated on, he had months. So Mike did something almost nobody does when fear hits. He went cold turkey on the standard American diet and committed to a strict whole food, plant-based way of eating. No exceptions. And then came the moment that sounds like a movie line. After surgery, he says the doctor checked 35 places for metastasis and found none. Mike believes that decision, what he quit first, is what gave him decades back. Here's the wild part. Mike didn't slow down like everyone expects. He kept moving, running and canoe racing, and even in his late 90s, he was still running 10 miles 3 times a week before eventually dialing it back. So how does a man at 103 still look sharp, still move strong, and still run like aging never got permission? Stay with me, because in this video, we're revealing the 3 things he refuses to eat, the ones he says age men fast, what he eats instead, and the simple routine that kept Mike Fremont strong past 100. 3 foods he eats. Oats plus berries. Mike Fremont's day doesn't start with something exotic. No miracle smoothie, no complicated stack of powders. It starts with a bowl, oatmeal, warm, basic, almost old school, and then a handful of berries, blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, sometimes with a small piece of mango if it's around. That's it. Not because he can't afford better, not because he doesn't know what's trending, but because this kind of food does one thing exceptionally well. It gives your body steady fuel without drama. Oats are the kind of breakfast that doesn't beg you to snack an hour later. They move slow. They keep hunger quiet. And when you're trying to stay strong in your later decades, that matters more than people realize. Because the real enemy isn't just aging, it's the constant cycle of spikes and crashes that makes your body feel older than it is. That cycle makes your energy unpredictable. It makes you crave junk at night. It makes you sleep lighter. And it slowly turns your body into a machine that's always chasing the next hit of quick fuel. Mike's breakfast does the opposite. It's the kind of meal that says, calm down. We're not in a rush. We're building today the same way we build every day. Steady. That's the theme of his entire life. Not intensity for a week, consistency for decades. And the berries? That's not diet food. That's strategic. Berries are a simple, repeatable way to keep the body supported without turning meals into a chemistry experiment. They're easy, they travel, They don't require a recipe, and they keep the meal clean without feeling like punishment. That matters because the plan you can repeat is always stronger than the plan you can't. This is what Mike's food teaches. The goal isn't to eat like a robot. The goal is to eat like a man who respects his future. Simple foods, reliable fuel, fewer cravings, less chaos, more control. Beans, every day. If there's one anchor in Mike Fremont's day, one food that shows up again and again, it's beans. Not as a trend, as a rule. Black beans, kidney beans, garbanzo beans, sometimes as plain as half a can with a few drops of tamari for taste, and the other half goes into the fridge for tomorrow. That detail matters because it tells you exactly who Mike is. He's not chasing flavor, he's building structure. Beans are the kind of food that quietly does the heavy lifting. They keep you full. They keep your hunger stable. They are simple enough to eat daily without thinking. And when you get older, thinking becomes the hidden tax that drains discipline. Most people don't fail because they're weak. They fail because they're tired. They don't want another decision. They don't want another complicated meal. They want something that works. Beans are that. They're the type of meal that doesn't create a crash. They don't send you into a sugar hunt at night. They don't make you feel heavy and regretful the next day. They're quiet power food. Unsexy, but effective. And that's what separates men who stay strong from men who slowly soften. The strong ones don't chase excitement in their diet. They chase repeatability. The other reason beans matter in Mike's story is psychological. Beans are not a cheat. You don't binge beans. You don't spiral after beans. They don't open the door to chaos. You eat them, you move on, you live your day. That's what a longevity diet looks like. It doesn't hijack your brain. It doesn't trigger cravings. It doesn't become a battle. It becomes routine. And routine is what kept Mike moving when the average person stops. He didn't win because he did something extreme for a short period. He won because he built a system his older self could still follow. Broccoli plus real plants. Mike's third category is the simplest. Vegetables close to their natural state. Broccoli flowers, basic greens, plant foods that still look like what they are. He's not building a menu, he's building a pattern. Most people underestimate how powerful boring food can be. They think boring means weak. They think boring means you're missing out. But boring is often the exact thing that rescues you after 50, when your body no longer forgives daily chaos. When you eat a lot of real plants, something subtle happens. Your taste resets. Your cravings soften. Your stomach feels calmer. Your energy becomes more predictable. And the biggest benefit is this: your diet stops depending on motivation. You don't need hype to eat broccoli. You just do it because it's part of the system. Mike's entire approach is built on this principle. Don't create a lifestyle that requires you to be in the mood. Create a lifestyle that runs even when you're tired, even when you're stressed, even when life gets loud, because that's when most people lose. And that's why his food choices matter. They're not trendy, they're foundational. They aren't designed to impress anyone. They're designed to keep the machine running, quietly, consistently, year after year. 3 foods he avoids. No meat. Mike wasn't vague about this. He didn't say, I cut back. He didn't say, I'm mostly. He cut it out. No meat, no negotiating. And that's important because the power isn't only in the food, it's in the decisiveness. Most people try to change their health while still leaving the door open for their old habits. They want the new body, but they keep the old exits. They want to improve, but they keep their comfort foods on standby just in case. And what happens? They return to the same loop. Mike didn't do that. He made a clean cut. And clean cuts create clean results because they remove daily bargaining. You're not arguing with yourself at dinner. You're not maybe tomorrow. You're not playing mental tug of war. The rule is the rule, and a rule is easier to follow than a negotiation. This is why his story hits people. His discipline wasn't aggressive. It was organized. No dairy, no milk, no a little cheese. No exceptions disguised as moderation. Mike treats dairy like a boundary line he doesn't cross. And again, notice the theme. He didn't build a life around willpower. He built a life around fewer decisions. Mike didn't build his new life by debating his old one. He built his new life by committing. That's why his diet became automatic. And once your routine becomes automatic, you stop burning energy on self-control. You save that energy for living. No eggs. And yes, no eggs. Not because eggs are the villain in every case, but because his method is extreme clarity. When Mike decided to change, he didn't change halfway. He changed completely. That's what makes the story powerful. Most men think they need more motivation. They don't. They need fewer loopholes. Mike's mindset is, when you change for real. Not for applause. Not for a month. Not for a challenge. For your life. Legend number 2. But Mike Fremont isn't the only man who proved that age doesn't have to define you. Our next legend became one of Hollywood's toughest and most respected icons. Even at 95 years old, he continues to inspire millions with his discipline, strength, and relentless work ethic. While most people his age have long retired, he still carries himself with the confidence and energy of a man decades younger. So what are the foods he refuses to eat? What daily habits have helped him stay lean, sharp, and active for nearly a century? Let's take a closer look at the incredible life of Clint Eastwood. At 95 years old, Clint Eastwood still looks and moves like a man decades younger. Born May 31st, 1930, in San Francisco, California, USA, he has become living proof that aging doesn't have to mean decline. Hollywood has watched countless stars fade away, lose their strength, or retreat into quiet retirement. But Clint? He refuses to slow down. Even today, when most men his age struggle just to get out of bed, Clint still directs films, walks with perfect posture, and carries the same rugged presence that made him famous in Dirty Harry and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Fans look at him and say, 95? No way. He looks 60. But here's the truth. Clint Eastwood has lived his life with a strict philosophy. It's not about being lucky or having good genes. It's about discipline. He has carefully chosen what to eat, how to move, and which foods to avoid completely. In fact, one of the biggest secrets to his long-lasting energy and youth is that he avoids 3 specific foods that accelerate aging, destroy energy, and increase disease risk. Today, we're going to break down Clint Eastwood's daily routine, the diet that fuels him, and the 3 foods he refuses to eat. By the end, you'll see how these simple choices helped him stay strong, sharp, and youthful at nearly 100 years old, and how you can apply the same lessons to your life right now. Clint Eastwood's morning routine. Clint has always believed in the power of early mornings. Long before the cameras roll or meetings begin, he wakes before the sun, takes in the fresh California air, and sets his mind in order. At his ranch in Carmel, mornings begin with silence, reflection, and light activity. He doesn't overload on food in the morning. Instead, breakfast is balanced but light. He prefers a bowl of steel-cut oats with blueberries or strawberries, sometimes a hard-boiled egg or scrambled eggs with spinach, a small cup of black coffee without sugar or cream, and always a tall glass of water. This is Clint's way of saying no to heavy, greasy breakfasts that slow most people down. For him, mornings are about fuel, not indulgence. Clint Eastwood's diet, what keeps him strong. Clint Eastwood eats to live, not the other way around. His meals are clean, portion-controlled, and nutrient-rich. He focuses on staying lean, keeping inflammation low, and protecting his energy. Here's how he eats. Lean proteins, fish like salmon or trout, chicken breast, turkey, and occasionally lean beef. Protein preserves muscle mass, which is critical for strength as men age. Vegetables, spinach, kale, asparagus, broccoli, and bell peppers. He loads his plate with green vegetables daily, whole grains, quinoa, brown rice, and oats for steady, long-lasting energy. Healthy fats, avocados, nuts, and olive oil for heart health and brain function. Hydration, plenty of water and green tea for antioxidants and clarity. What makes Clint unique is his discipline. He eats simple, clean meals, no excess, no overindulgence. For him, food is fuel, and that's why his body still performs like a much younger man's. The 3 foods Clint Eastwood refuses to eat. So, what are the 3 foods Clint Eastwood avoids to keep his body decades younger? These might surprise you, but they explain his lean physique, sharp mind, and incredible longevity. Fried foods, fried chicken, French fries, onion rings. These are staples in most American diets, but not Clint's. Why? Because fried foods are loaded with trans fats and oxidized oils that accelerate aging. They inflame the arteries, weaken the heart, and pile on belly fat. At 95, Clint has managed to stay slim, strong, and heart healthy. One big reason is that he skips fried foods. Instead of fried chicken, he chooses grilled or baked. Instead of French fries, he eats roasted sweet potatoes. By avoiding fried foods for decades, he kept his arteries clear and his waistline lean. Excess dairy. While many people rely on cheese, cream, and heavy dairy products, Clint limits them. Dairy can be inflammatory, cause digestive issues, and lead to unwanted weight gain as metabolism slows with age. Clint isn't vegan, but he understands that too much cheese or milk can slow you down. Instead, he prefers lighter proteins and plant-based sources of calcium, like leafy greens and almonds. By cutting back on dairy, he avoids bloating, stiffness, and excess body fat, common complaints for men in their 60s, let alone their 90s. Refined white carbs, white bread, pasta, pastries, and bagels. These refined carbs are stripped of nutrition and spike blood sugar levels. For Clint, they're a no-go. He knows that high blood sugar leads to crashes in energy, stubborn belly fat, and an increased risk of diabetes. Instead, Clint sticks to whole grains, oatmeal in the morning, brown rice, or quinoa at lunch and dinner. This keeps his blood sugar stable, his energy steady, and his body lean. Clint Eastwood's fitness and exercise routine. At 95 years old, Clint Eastwood doesn't lift weights like he did in his prime, but he never stopped moving. Movement is life, and that's his mantra. Strength training, push-ups, resistance bands, and functional body weight moves keep his muscles strong without injury. Cardio, walking, hiking, and horseback riding. Clint has always loved being outdoors, and this keeps his heart young. Flexibility. Stretching daily ensures he maintains posture, balance, and mobility. Golf, a sport he still enjoys, which keeps him active without being too stressful on his joints. The key? Clint moves every single day. Even at 95, he avoids sitting around. He keeps his body in motion because motion is what keeps him alive. The philosophy that guides him. Perhaps the most powerful secret behind Clint Eastwood's longevity is his mindset. He lives by a simple philosophy. Don't let the old man in. This isn't just a catchy phrase, it's his way of life. Clint refuses to let age define him. He doesn't accept weakness as inevitable. He believes in staying disciplined, keeping the body lean, and the mind active. Instead of retiring quietly, Clint continues directing films, reading scripts, and working on creative projects. This mental engagement keeps him sharp. Combined with a clean diet and the avoidance of foods that destroy health, this mindset is why he seems 30 years younger than he is. Final message. Clint Eastwood is living proof that aging is a choice. Born in 1930, he's lived through nearly a century of change. Yet he still stands tall, still works, and still looks decades younger. While most men his age rely on doctors and medications, Clint relies on discipline. He eats clean, he avoids fried foods, heavy dairy, and refined carbs. He moves daily, he keeps his mind sharp, and he refuses to let the old man in. If you want to stay strong, youthful, and full of energy, take a page out of Clint's book. Look at your plate. Ask yourself, are you fueling your body for youth, or are you feeding it the very foods that accelerate aging? Clint made his choice decades ago, and at 95 years old, it shows. He still looks 60 because he's lived with discipline, focus, and the courage to avoid the foods that age most people long before their time. Legend number 3. But our final legend may have the most surprising anti-aging secret of them all. At 98 years old, he still makes people laugh, keeps his mind incredibly sharp, and lives each day with an energy that many people lose decades earlier. His secret isn't intense workouts or complicated diets. Instead, it comes from something almost everyone overlooks: joy, purpose, and a few simple daily habits that have stood the test of time. Before we reveal the 5 foods he refuses to eat and the routine that keeps him feeling decades younger, let's meet one of Hollywood's greatest comedy legends, Mel Brooks. When Mel Brooks turned 98, something remarkable happened. Instead of slowing down or stepping away from the spotlight, he cracked a joke. He looked at the camera and said, "The secret to living this long? Don't die." Everyone laughed. But behind that humor lies a truth that very few people understand. Because while most men his age are battling frailty, memory loss, and fatigue, Mel is still writing, performing, and walking with the spark of a man 40 years younger. He's living proof that you don't need a perfect body, miracle genetics, or Hollywood magic to stay young. You need energy, purpose, and the discipline to make small, powerful choices every day. But the story of Mel Brooks isn't about laughter alone. It's about loss, resilience, and survival. After losing his wife, Anne Bancroft, the love of his life, Mel could have easily faded into loneliness, but instead, he turned his grief into gratitude. He once said, "You can't help getting older, but you don't have to get old." And that became his mission. Every morning, he still wakes up with one goal: to make someone laugh, to move his body, and to nourish his mind. At 98, he's not just surviving, he's thriving. And today, we'll uncover exactly how he does it: the foods, the habits, and the mindset that keep his body biologically decades younger. By the end of this video, you'll see how a man nearly a century old can teach us more about longevity than any modern fitness influencer ever could. The secret morning habit that changed his life. Mel's mornings are simple, structured, and full of meaning. He believes the way you start your day determines how you age. Instead of scrolling through his phone or lying in bed, Mel begins each morning by doing something that scientists now say is a longevity superpower: gratitude mixed with movement. He wakes up, drinks a full glass of water, and opens his curtains to let the sunlight in. Then, before breakfast, he walks, slowly, deliberately, but every single day. He says walking is his form of meditation. He often walks around his backyard garden, observing the plants, feeding birds, and sometimes even rehearsing jokes to himself. Doctors call it active reflection. It lowers cortisol, improves blood circulation, and strengthens the heart, something crucial for a man who's been through decades of show business stress. After his walk, Mel sits down for a light breakfast. No bacon, no sugary pastries, no heavy pancakes. Instead, he starts with a bowl of Greek yogurt topped with walnuts, blueberries, and a drizzle of honey. It's high in protein, loaded with antioxidants, and gentle on digestion. He drinks green tea or black coffee, but always limits himself to 1 cup. "I need my caffeine," he jokes, "but I don't want to start vibrating." This combination of sunlight, hydration, gratitude, and a clean meal sets the tone for his day: calm, alert, and strong. The surprising foods that keep him energized. You'd think that at 98, Mel's diet would be restrictive or boring, but it's the opposite. He believes food should be joyful, not a punishment. However, he treats food as medicine. Each meal is chosen to fight inflammation, protect the brain, and boost vitality. Greek yogurt and fermented foods. Mel eats Greek yogurt, kimchi, or a little sauerkraut several times a week. Fermented foods restore gut health, which scientists now say is directly linked to energy and immunity. Lentil and vegetable soups. He's said to love simple, hearty soups made with lentils, carrots, onions, and olive oil. These give him fiber and plant-based protein without taxing his digestive system. Blueberries and berries. Every single day, they're loaded with antioxidants that protect the brain from aging. Mel calls them nature's candy that doesn't kill you. Olive oil and nuts. His go-to fats come from olive oil, walnuts, and almonds. These keep his cholesterol in check and his joints flexible. Whole grains. Instead of white bread or pasta, he eats oats, quinoa, or rye toast. Slow digesting carbs like these keep blood sugar stable and prevent fatigue. What's amazing is how balanced his meals are. He doesn't overeat. He doesn't starve. He simply nourishes his body the way a craftsman maintains a prized instrument, and it's paying off. His skin glows, his energy is stable, and his memory still razor sharp. 5 foods Mel Brooks absolutely avoids. Now, here's where most people go wrong. Mel doesn't just focus on what to eat, he's ruthless about what not to eat. And this is where his discipline outshines even younger men. Diet sodas and artificial sweeteners. Mel calls them the tricksters. They pretend to be healthy, but cause chaos inside your body. Studies show artificial sweeteners confuse insulin response and may even harm gut bacteria. He prefers sparkling water or green tea instead. Frozen, healthy meals. He avoids packaged meals labeled low-fat or high-protein. Why? Because they're filled with preservatives and sodium that raise blood pressure and cause bloating. He believes real food doesn't need a label. White bread and refined carbs. Mel hasn't touched white bread or regular pasta in years. He says they make him sluggish and sleepy. He replaces them with rye or sprouted grains. Slower energy, better digestion. Creamy sauces and dressings. He avoids heavy cream-based sauces like Alfredo or ranch dressing. These are calorie bombs that slow circulation and strain the heart. His rule, if it glistens like oil paint, it belongs on a canvas, not a plate. Margarine and processed oils. Mel sticks to natural fats like butter or olive oil. Margarine and hydrogenated oils are packed with trans fats that age your arteries faster than time itself. By eliminating these foods, he's not just protecting his heart, he's keeping his energy clean. And that's the secret. Energy, not age, defines how old you feel. His simple movement philosophy. Mel doesn't train like a bodybuilder or run marathons. He moves like a man who wants to live longer, not just stronger. His philosophy is simple. If you stop moving, you start dying. He walks every day, 30 to 40 minutes minimum. Sometimes outdoors, sometimes on a treadmill while watching his old comedies. He stretches before bed, focusing on his back and legs. But here's the twist. His real secret exercise is laughter. He believes laughter activates the same muscles and oxygen response as mild cardio, and studies actually support it. Laughing improves circulation and lowers stress hormones. He also loves to dance. When friends visit, he'll often turn on jazz music and dance around his living room for fun. He says, "I don't dance well, but I dance often." At 98, that movement, simple, joyful, consistent, has kept his mobility shockingly youthful. His secret mental trick for staying 40 at 98, Mel's mind is as sharp as his punchlines. What's his secret? Curiosity. Every day he learns something new. A new joke, a new word, a new story. He says curiosity keeps the brain flexible, and science agrees. Learning new skills slows cognitive decline and can even reverse mild memory loss. He also practices something psychologists call cognitive reframing. Instead of focusing on pain or loss, he looks for humor in everything. When he talks about aging, he jokes, "At my age, if I drop something, I decide I didn't need it." But behind that laughter is emotional intelligence. Humor lowers cortisol, improves immunity, and strengthens relationships, all proven keys to longevity. He doesn't meditate the traditional way. His version of meditation is storytelling. Every night before bed, he tells himself a story, sometimes real, sometimes made up, about what he's grateful for. It's his way of ending the day with peace instead of worry. That's why, even at 98, he still radiates joy. Final message to viewers. Over 50, Mel Brooks has shown the world that aging doesn't have to mean slowing down. It can mean leveling up. At 98, after losing friends, facing heartache, and watching the world change, he still wakes up every morning with gratitude and the urge to make people smile. That's his real fountain of youth. He reminds us that staying young isn't about looks. It's about energy, mindset, and choosing laughter over bitterness. So if you're over 50, take Mel's advice. Start walking every day. Replace one unhealthy food with something colorful and alive. Call a friend, tell a joke, or simply smile more. Because the real secret isn't in a bottle or a pill. It's in how you live, how you eat, and how you think. And if Mel Brooks can still laugh, dance, and shine at 98, what's stopping you from feeling young at any age?